It is fantastic to see all people around the globe joining this short celebration of Jakarta EE10 release that is expected any minute now. Well, I'm not sure minute is the right word, but any day or any week now. It is great to see the appreciation of the Tech Talks. So this Tech Talk will be dedicated to the 10 release. We will have guests that are going to talk about the significance of this release, about the process of releasing this version. And of course, here today, we have three of us from the Eclipse Foundation that are completely focused on the success of Jakarta EE. My name is Tanya Obradovic. I work as Jakarta EE Program Manager, and I will let my colleagues introduce themselves. Before I actually do that, I just want to give an extra credit and the golden star to our superstar Ivar Grimstad, who is actually today juggling two calls at the same time. One is the fabulous celebration of the Jakarta E10 release, and the other one is the platform call that is gathering all the community that is actively working on the specifications, and that they're still working on last moves to release Jakarta E10. So we're extremely busy with that, and Ivar is extremely busy with the juggling both calls at the same time. So Shabnam, before we let Ivar introduce himself, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Shabnam Mayel. I'm the marketing manager of the Jakarta EE working group. And yeah, looking forward to a great session. Actually, before I turn it to Ivar, I would like to thank our community members for participating in our selfie challenge that we started a couple of weeks ago, and where we invited all of our community members to take a selfie with their Jakarta EE merge or their Jakarta E10 release banner. And we've seen great participation. Thanks for that. At the end of this session, we're actually going to announce a winner. We have other award categories that we are going to announce winners for those as well. So please keep watching. Yeah. Over to you, Ivar.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me now. And yeah, I'm sort of having the platform call on one ear and trying to figure out everything, but I'll try to be present where I am at the moment. So yeah, let's do. I also got a tweet out on the celebration, but that was sort of last minute as well. So yeah, we're super prepared, and I think we're gonna have some fun.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ivar. So I will just quickly share my screen to show people the plan of the call, and so we are going to do our little welcome. I will show you right after this what is going to be the release page for the Jakarta E10. We will talk about programs that we have available for contributors and committers. And then we will have our first guest, Scott Stark, whose role was extremely significant for this release because he was leading the effort. And then we will go right into the panel discussion with a little bit of a technical overview of the Jakarta E10 with Adam Bean, Ottavio Santana, and Rudy de Bouchard. And Shabnam will close with the community awards. So without further ado, I will just jump into what we're going to have as the...
Before you do that,
Okay.
Tanya,
Yes.
can I come with a request? And I know now I'm making everything difficult for us, but could we do the Scott Stark thing first, and then do the contributors?
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
So I'll pull in Scott now, so we can have that discussion. So because since we're not released yet, we really wanna focus on getting that release out. So let's see if we can get Scott on. I've invited him here.
Yeah, and another reason why we're doing this, as I mentioned, we have a platform call in parallel, and Scott, as the release lead, is of course juggling two calls at the same time as well. So thank you to Scott also.
Yeah. So he's connecting now, and welcome, Scott. And we last minute decided to switch the from the doing the contributors and to this. So I hope that's okay.
Sure.
What do we wanted to talk about a little bit is the role as release lead. And first, please do introduce yourself a little, who you are and how you're connected to Jakarta EE.
I'm Scott Stark. I'm a director of the engineering applications in the middleware division of Red Hat, so focusing mostly on our Java application server and related products that JBoss, that are under the JBoss umbrella. And so our involvement is from the perspective of our Wildfly server and related enterprise application server.
And with Jakarta EE, you have had with Jakarta EE 10. I mean, you obviously have been involved in all the Jakarta releases, but for 10, you were assigned, or you volunteered, sort of as the release lead. So can you explain a little bit about what does a release lead do?
Well, pretty much. So, the fundamental deal is that all the specification projects effectively operate independently. So we have on the order of 30 specifications creating, well, in this particular one, not everyone producing a release, but we have many specifications producing new content that then have to be integrated into the platform and the profiles. And so we've also created a new core profile for this release, and so that's another piece that I worked mostly on. But it's the coordination of all those individual component specification releases, their TCKs, because we were also breaking out TCKs from component specifications in this release from the platform spec. Just, trying to coordinate the releases of those specs, order them by dependency chains, and then pull them into the various platform and profiles. Just the coordination around that.
Yeah, so it's a lot of coordination, and it's not like when you're a project manager in some commercial project where you can kind of order people around. Here we're
Right.
all open source, it's all volunteers, and it's kind of all about coordinating all these projects and try to get them to deliver at the same time.
Right. So that's certainly a challenge, but I mean, it's, I've worked in open source since pretty much the start of my career in the Java space, and obviously Red Hat does as well. And so we are used to working with upstream communities, and so I mean that that type of lack of control is a norm for me. So I mean, you pitch in where you can and just try and coordinate and guide where we need help, and just see who is willing to step up, and that's happened several times during this release, several different people have stepped up and contributed, around a project that they have an interest in or a need for whatever reason.
Yeah. And for EE9, we had Kevin Sutter was the release lead, and for EE8, I think a lot of people chipped in. Maybe Ed Bratt took a heavy role in that, but you've been release lead for EE10. Is there anything you would kind of say what's in it for a new release lead for a subsequent release? Is it I mean, it's not. It is a little bit of extra work, and it's not necessarily a very kind of high valued position in any way or status in any way. But is there anything you kind of gain from it that you would recommend others to step up and be a release lead for the release?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a way to pretty much fully understand the entire process around the Jakarta releases and also integration. I mean, so you see things like where a process is a bit cumbersome, where you just see where are the places where things work well and where we could have better operational behaviors and even better definitions of things. You certainly see that there are things that we need to address to make it easier for cross-pollination of projects. And I mean, in particular, I think there's a lot of problems or issues around how our TCKs are written in several different test frameworks and not easily integrated. And even the mechanism in a given test framework, the usage is different, which makes it, again, difficult to have consistent consumption and modification. So, there's some things that you see that will go into future efforts. You certainly get into specs that you don't maybe traditionally use. So you see a little bit about how each of the specifications are, what their focus is and what their integration points are, and stuff like that. So just you gain a better understanding of both Jakarta processes as well as implementation details that could be improved.
Yeah. So it's certainly a role where you, as you say, you get experience with or get experiences from things that you normally not work with, and kind of get the full overview of. So it's a very nice place to be to learn about all the specifications.
Yeah, I mean, if you're involved in the platform project, it's certainly a good effort, because it is really the ultimate application of being on the platform team, is that coordinating the release or helping out with the coordination of release. Getting a release out the door, you get to participate in all the aspects of what it really means to be on the platform team and what the platform is about, because it's the full platform and the profiles and those interactions and the differences is an important thing to actually feel at the level of producing a release.
So it's both sort of a coordination role, as you talked about, but also a little bit of the architecture and overall how the platforms and profiles and everything is connected.
Yeah, architecture, in architecture abstractly, which I think we probably need to do a better job on, but also in terms of practical application of, this spec has these expectations, and the profiles or the platform have, maybe want to change it or weaken it, and how do we practically achieve those type of flexible or coordination and combination at a different profile and platform level. So I mean, when we introduced the core profile, that certainly reduced some of the specifications that are used, and so you see things like there are leakage of dependencies that aren't explicitly in the spec but are expected. that we need to be able to address going forward if we want more flexibility, especially trying to scale down to smaller footprints in the cloud and things like that.
Yeah. So I think you're probably wanted in the platform call, since we are about to get it out. So I'll let you go. But before we do, of course, Kevin got a nice T-shirt for being a release lead, and of course, we'll send one your way as well. So you can be nicely Jakarta branded, not probably not this one, but a nicer one. We'll get one. That's one of the perks of being a release lead. Let's say good luck with this release out the door, and I also hope that you will participate in future releases and maybe as release lead or helping the coming release lead there.
Indeed.
So thank you very much, Scott.
Yep.
I think we need to invite Tanya back on the screen.
I'm getting Tanya back as we speak. So she's
all right.
there. There you go.
Hey, Tanya.
You're on mute, by the way.
I just need to unmute myself. So hello
2
again.
years into the pandemic, and we still have to unmute for ourselves.
So thank you, Scott, once again for taking the time from the platform call to let us know about his experience and his view as the release lead. And I'll jump right into just walk you through what is going to be our future Jakarta EE release page. Let me share my screen here. So just give me a second. Here I am. So this is our fabulous preview of the Jakarta EE 10 release. Of course, this is not going to be the live page until the release is fully ready. So what exactly does that mean and where we are at? I will invite you all to look into our GitHub issues, and here is the link where you can actually see our progress. On this particular page, I'm showing all the individual specifications that have gone through the release review, and therefore they're completely ready for our final release within the platform or the profile specifications. And as you can see, we're still having 3 open specifications: platform, web profile, and the brand new core profile specification as well. So once that is completed and the release review is completed for all 3 of those, we will actually release this page, and that will be the moment where the release is final. So the page is going to look like this. You will be able to, of course, as previously, download the compatible products and the specifications. But you will see here that we are actually describing this release as with 3 keywords that our working group came up with, which is modernized, simplified, and lightweight. So modernized actually indicates all the releases, all the individual specifications that have updates as well as new features in them. Simplified indicates the possibility of using and introducing new additional annotations and enabling or make it easier to create modularized applications. And lightweight will be actually indicating that we're going to have this new core profile that is going to be targeted for new modernized and lightweight Java applications and possibility of using microservices with ease. We are going to have all the visual representation of the specifications that are composing one of the profiles or the whole platform, with clear indication what is updated, what is not, and here the introduction of subset of the CDI specification, which is CDI Lite, as one of the key specifications for the core profile. We're going to, so you will see the number of projects, specifications, Git repositories, and of course, we're going to highlight our committers as well as, contributors who participated in creating this release. So with all of that, we will go a little bit later into more detail in terms of the technical aspects of this release. But with introduction of, with the mention of committers and contributors, I would actually like to invite Shabnam, who will tell us a little bit more about committers and contributors that we're celebrating at any opportunity we have and programs that we have around committers and contributors. Shabnam, do you want to take it over?
Yes, thank you, Tanya.
No
okay,
problem.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Just give me a second.
If you have problem sharing, I can share.
Just give it one more try. Yeah. If you can share, please, Tanya.
I'll share. Maybe. Nope. Am I on screen?
Yes, your video is just not
okay.
on.
So here it is.
All right, perfect. So yeah, one of the goals in our program plan is to grow and reward the committers and contributors of our amazing community. So to help with that, we have come up with a number of initiatives that I have listed here. So every quarter we reach out to a committer to be featured in the ECOPS Foundation community newsletter. We promote and congratulate the newly elected committers on our social channels. We congratulate and promote our new contributors on our social channels, as well as on our news section of the website. And we, recognize and promote the most prolific committers and contributors on our annual Jakarta One live stream. And we also created this how to get involved in Jakarta EE page to make it easier for our community members to basically be able to understand how to become a committer or how to get involved in Jakarta EE. And I have added the link to that at the bottom of the slide. Please check that out. And, we're trying to highlight that the contribution doesn't necessarily have to be to a code. It can be to developing any marketing materials or collateral. So yeah, please check this page out and get involved in Jakarta EE. I think with that, we can give it to Ivar, or we have the panel discussion now, right?
Yes, so we will invite our distinguished guest, and let's get going with a little bit more technical discussion about Jakarta EE. Oh, Adam is already here, which is great to see. Hi, Adam, how are you?
Hello, I was the entire time here.
Yeah, you were, but not on the screen necessarily. Okay. So hi, Ottavio. Hi, Rudy. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Maybe Adam, you can start first.
Yeah, hi. Adam, freelancer consultant, and I'm working with Jakarta APIs actually all the time. Not everything, but 80% of Jakarta EE.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Rudy, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm Rudy de Busser. Well, probably also working already 10 years or 12 years with Java EE and now Jakarta EE, and I just love the platform and try out things, play around with it, and hopefully can bring some ideas to the general platform.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. My name is Otávio Santana. I'm just a coconut person who do not enjoy coffee. But instead of that, I enjoy a lot of coconuts and also Brazilian barbecue.
Oh,
And coffee?
nice.
No
No coffee.
coffee, sorry.
Okay,
coffee.
disqualified. From Brazil, no coffee. And Java is a brand. I mean,
Yeah. So.
Oh, yes, Diego. I remember Peru. It's amazing.
Oh, and there is Ivar. Hey, Ivar.
Yeah, I've been there the entire time. I was on as the Eclipse Foundation login because I have 2 logins here. But yeah.
So we already heard from our guests that they're heavily involved with Jakarta EE. Adam is using it 80% of his application development time, which is amazing. And I'm sure it's no different with Rudy and Ottavio. But why don't we start with a little bit of an overview, from a more technical overview with Jakarta EE 10 release and what people can expect there.
Yeah, so I prepared like 4 slides to keep it minimum. But in order to show them, I have to kick you out, Tanya. So I'll get you on.
Yeah, do feel free to kick me out.
So let's keep the slides to a bare minimum here. Let me see if I can share. Oh my god. I hope this is the one. Okay. It doesn't want to share, so should try this one. But let's say that the image I was planning to share was the list of all the specs and all the specs that are new in this release. And you're probably very much familiar with most of them. I'll just ask, what is your sort of favorite specification for Jakarta EE 10? And Adam, do you have any specifications you are kind of looking forward to updates to? And don't be afraid if you're not aware of exactly the details that specification is giving for this release. I can probably try to remind.
Okay. So the most surprising and interesting is the possibility to have a Java rendering JSF. This is an interesting one. So you can actually write Java code and create HTML pages on the fly. Someone asked already a question, and the server-side rendering is coming actually more and more. So it could be really useful. And what I see very useful in my project is actually the core API. Is that we defined a set of core APIs which are available on all runtimes, and we can rely on it. I think this can be really useful because now in the clouds and serverless environments, having something like a core profile could allow more runtimes to implement this. If you just focus on the core profile and they don't have to implement the entire Jakarta EE stack, could be great.
And to just remind everybody what the core profile is, that is a set of specifications that are kind of targeting smaller runtimes, and the specifications are RESTful web services, it's JSON processing and JSON binding, it's Jakarta annotations, interceptors, dependency injection, and the new CDI Lite. So that's the entire profile. So it's just a small set of specifications.
Yeah, and the CDI Lite particular, I would say maybe the least, I would say, spectacular one, but the most useful, because what will happen, it will allow native compilation, right, later, and better integration with Java SE. So what it means is, I would suspect or that most of the Java core Jakarta EE core profile is going to be natively, how to call it, compilable, right, to GraalVM, and also runnable from Java SE like runtimes, right?
Yeah, that's excellent. So your picks are the additions to Jakarta Faces and the core profile. So let's go over to Rudy and see what you have for favorites in this release.
Well, Adam already mentioned my favorite, it's the core profile, although it is already only the beginning, because, for instance, we are missing Jakarta config in the core profile, and probably some other small bits and pieces, something like security to make it really useful. So let's maybe switch on to something else, which I also worked on. It's around security. Now we have that OpenID Connect integration within the security API, and that's probably also a nice thing for a lot of projects, because those authentication and authorization requirements are a lot of the times now externalized to those providers. So that's my topic, because the core profile was already picked by Adam.
Yeah. And Otavio, no sequel this time either.
Oh, but it's coming. No sequel is coming. It's because it's an eventual release.
Yeah.
Okay, you probably know this too. But anyway, my favorite one is CDI Lite, especially because we are living in the serverless area. We need to reduce the memory information, need to make faster startup. When we are able to do this injection magic and the build time instead of reflection time on the runtime, it will save more memory to us. So that's why I enjoy, and that's why I participate a lot on the CDI specification group.
Yeah, and one interest, all of you have mentioned CDI Lite and the core profile, and one of the reason why it is a 4.0, a major release, is that they have some breaking changes. So they changed the behavior of Beans XML. So it goes from it means that everything is injectable to annotated, and that will force people to, if you rely on everything being injectable, you will have to add an empty Beans XML or add annotations everywhere. So this is kind of a pretty major breaking change. Wouldn't you say, Adam? I saw you reacted to that one.
Sure, I just thought about that, but I'm using Quarkus a lot, and this is also expected in Quarkus that you annotate a lot of stuff. So I would say, and breaking changes, you are right. But if we going to core API, you will have to migrate the applications anyway, right? Because the Jakarta EE is broader than the core API. So I would say breaking changes are good if they are well understood, and it's not like I will spend days just to fix it. I will have to annotate the classes with annotations, and I'm done.
Or add the empty Beans XML file.
Yeah, I would say not a big deal at all. And what happens right now? There's lots of fresh projects. So I would say it's absolutely okay, to have breaking changes every 20 years. I would say so. The next one would be Jakarta EE 20, right? So then we can talk again. But for me, absolutely fine, I would say.
Yeah. So
yes, but if you look in the whole specification, even in CDI 2.1 and CDI 2.0, I mean, even before it's become Jakarta EE or under the Eclipse Foundation umbrella, which you have the option to select to scan the whole class or just the annotation ones. So I really don't believe it's a break change, especially because we keep the behavior there. So we just have the option, a default option, where we need to use the annotator instead of have one BXML file to define that to us. It reduces the complexity if you look at this way.
Yeah, so we've talked about the core profile, and we actually have a question here, whether security would make sense to have added in core profile. And already you have any opinion?
As I mentioned already in the chat, the security API is built actually on top of two other specifications, the JSPIC one and the authorization one. And so for those reasons, I don't think it is really suited for as it is for the moment to be included in the core profile. Maybe another way is that like the microprofile JOT authentication, that because with microservices, it's most of the time only those JOT tokens and not the entire security that you need. So that maybe something similar like that is very useful to be used in combination with the core profile. But that security API, if you bring that security API in, then basically you bring the entire web profile again in, because it has so many other
but
dependencies.
We do have we have the tradition since a long time back to add lighter version of the APIs, like EJB has an EJB Lite version in web profile, and now we have CDI Lite in core profile. So maybe it's time for a security Lite.
Security Lite,
good better.
And maybe slightly different, because you mentioned CDI Lite, but that's basically not a slimmed down version of CDI Full, because it has the entire notion of those build time extensions, etc. So it is, maybe a new security based spec for EE11 or 12.
We should be also careful. What my observation is, something like OIDC, for instance, where what usually happens is that if you call a server, the server will redirect to a third party to get the tokens. But this happens more and more outside the runtime. So in my project, it happens in API gateways, in load balancers. And what we get is just the JSON Web Token and JOT, what Rudy mentioned. So we will force all the runtime providers to implement OIDC or similar APIs, and then this is not actually used. It will be counterproductive, because there is lots of stuff by the providers, which they have to implement everything. So I would say the simpler core profile, the more implementation we can get. This is my observation, and security, as Rudy mentioned, can be complex, because and light, what it means, light, even something, having annotations or methods is only appropriate if you don't have an API gateway which listens to routes and does it already for you. So I would say JOT is interesting one, right? JSON Web Token, because if you get the JOT injected, you have the entire session. I would say this would be a requirement, and we should be more careful with annotations and everything beyond JSON Web Token. This is my observation, and
Yeah, so that's a good. Sounds like a reasonable thing to have some sort of security light that offers JSON Web Token validation,
like microprofile, JSON Web Token.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Tanya, do you have any questions you have prepared for the panelists?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear actually from all of you. How would you comment on significance of this release comparing to any other previous Jakarta EE release, and how would you rate it at this point? And then I'll ask follow-up question.
Yeah.
So Rudy, do you want to start?
Well, the Jakarta EE10 is actually the first release in 4 or 5 years where there are actually new features. In the sense that Jakarta EE8 was just the transition from the Java EE8 from Oracle and the JCP to the Eclipse Foundation, and 9 was then with the namespace 9.11 just for certification on Java 11. So this one is the first one with actually new features. So I guess it is been a long time. It had its reasons, and there were good reasons for it. But yeah, now there are, as we mentioned, there are quite a lot of new features, which hopefully the people will enjoy and make their lives easier. So I rate it as probably the most important release since Java EE5, where we had the annotations.
Great. Any comments from Adam or Ottavio on the significance of the release?
My comment would be longer, so I don't know whether they would like to hear it. So we have time for my comment?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
We're able to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. My comment, everyone will fell asleep. So it is so if you look right now on clouds and all the serverless stuff, it looks to me like servlets in 1996. Lots of low-level plumbing, and everyone is excited. People are working with HTTP parsing and switch cases, and everyone is happy that at the end of the day, they get something like a servlet, what we had 20 years ago. So on the other side, people are still thinking that Jakarta EE is complex. And they say, okay, it will never fly and whatever. And then truth is, it is actually, Jakarta is just an API. If you look at the API, it can be as fast or slow as you like. So there is nothing slow or fast in it. It's just an API. And this is already implemented by many implementations, which is crazy fast, actually. So therefore, for me, I would say, even if we get, the Jakarta EE6 or Java EE6 functionality and apply it to serverless, it would be already a revolution, I would say, right? So, and we have Jakarta EE7 and 8 and 9 and 10. So I would say, again, this Jakarta EE core profile is a good even marketing move, because there's like a boundary. So, okay, look, if you look at this is like a minimal application you have to build. And we have a JAX-RS, which is a non-brainer. I mean, most of serverless applications have a kind of a HTTP endpoint. Interceptors, mostly you need them for small things. So I would say in 50% of all cases, you need a kind of an interceptor, a business interceptor. The text, the implementation needed behind the scenes, but we as developers, we need them. And CDI is not like what we did, years ago about modularization, whatever, but this is very convenient to use CDI. So what you could do, you could make whatever your serverless provider gives you injectable. And this is a lot easier than using no strange builder, static methods or whatever. You just say add inject logger and you have your logger, right? So I would say with Jakarta EE and the core profile, the entire serverless space in Java could be relevant and interesting again, and very, very productive. So this is what makes me exciting. And of course, we got new features, but the new features are more exciting to us Java EE developers. But the fact that Jakarta EE with the core profile could be interesting and even make Java even more relevant on the server side because of productivity. So you put some annotations and it's already working. So I would say I'm less exciting about the small features and more about the entire direction the thing is going. Like the CDI Lite. This is not clear. This is actually what we are doing are anti-features, right? Because this core profile is not. It's just like we are restricting ourselves to provide less functionality, which is lighter and faster. And this is, I think, a good thing, because I got always, the criticism, you are using Jakarta EE, but you are not using always everything. And now I can say, okay, but from the core profile, I'm using 90% of this thing. So I would say with the core profile and native, it is not like new APIs, but more like, the change of the implementation is huge for me, because the entire thing is going to be more optimized and will run on GraalVM if you need it, or you can also start it in Java SE for testing. Someone asked about testing. You could run, CDI in a Java SE container without Archillion, which is one of the questions, and it should work. So Sorry for my long explanation, but it is hard to explain it with one sentence. So I'm actually excited about, less functionality and behind the scenes optimizations, right? So this is the interesting part for me.
And as you pointed out earlier, Adam, it's not about necessarily. It is about inviting new vendors to implement a smaller runtimes and therefore open up the market and usability from the runtime perspective. Of course, also as you pointed out, you were always even before you were able to use these individual specifications on your own, but as a complete runtime, you were opening up the platform and setting the direction towards new application development styles. Ottavio, any comments from your end?
Oh, yes. I try to summarize what Adam said with one small step for Jakarta EE, one giant leap for the Java community, right? Basically, it's an open opportunity to bring more specifications. I mean, on that discussion, we're able to use the highlight and more specifications are coming, such as Jakarta, Jakarta NoSQL, Jakarta data, and Jakarta configuration as well.
Yeah. And this kind of almost begs a follow-up question. So considering that we're in the last phases of finalizing the 10 release, it is a great time for the community and you guys to think about the future. So this seems to be like a first stepping stone. But for all of you, including Ivar, I would like to hear, and as well as people in the chat, in the audience, how do you see and what do you envision for the upcoming 11 release, upcoming in terms of the next release coming up?
Yeah, I can
what
start.
do you think that we should focus on in the 11?
Yeah, so I think one of the things Scott mentioned earlier is we need to make things easier for everybody involved. It kind of streamline the process where it has some pain points. Getting the TCKs distangled so it's easier to release individual, and we don't have these all dependencies. So there are some kind of this technical depth that we have to kind of tackle, and I also I think at some point we probably need to take the discussion how to cope with these profiles. Today we have the platform, the web profile, and core profile. Should we have more profiles, or should they, as they are today, be subsets of each other, or should they be kind of just intersections? Or should it be more a modular approach where you kind of just pick and choose whatever fits your purpose? So maybe that's some kind of discussion we want to take. Adam mentioned serverless. Why not think, is there anywhere it would make sense to standardize around something like Jakarta functions, or where would that be is it about portability between vendors, or is it something else that it makes sense to standardize? So maybe that's something we should look at. Ottavio mentioned a couple of specs there as well.
Yeah, I think serverless is a huge right. What happens more and more, and I think the serverless is actually, so why I'm excited about serverless is because this is for me what Jakarta EE was always supposed to be. You know, you have one war or ear, you put it somewhere and it runs. I was never, fascinated or interested that in the server runtimes. I was more about building apps, and serverless is exactly about that. And we already have some, interesting implementations. Like, we have Payara Cloud, and we have Cumulus, and we have Helidon and Quarkus, and of course Piranha from Ariane, and all the others. And what I think what needs to happen is, if you see what serverless actually is fairly simple. You get event from somewhere, and in this event is in the JSON structure. You get the HTTP parameters and the entire context, and you parse the thing and you are invoking a JAX-RS function, right? So this is what needs to happen, and this is somehow standardized in cloud events, but it's ignored by most clouds. But something like this, like say, okay, this JAX-RS could be invoked by a JSON event. It doesn't have to be a servlet. It doesn't have to be Netty or whatever. It's something else, and then we are already serverless. This is and there are already open source implementations which are doing this, and maybe why serverless is interesting, because pay as you use, right? So the server doesn't have to run the entire time. It just runs if it has to, and Payara Cloud, they have the Payara micros. They also have to run if they have to. You can shut them down, scale to 0. So I would say this is the future. Just focus more what we can. And I would say for Jakarta EE, what really I like all the time is the clear separation between business and infrastructure. And serverless is the next, this is exactly this. So I only have my code and I push it somewhere and it just runs. This is for me serverless with servers, right? Small things, I would say, right? Logging API, a simple one. Just inject and log, right? So this is but not your log levels, just a very simple. And behind the scenes, you can use Java system log or whatever, but has something injectable. One very simple specification. I would say maybe 10 years ago, this Java EE and J2E tried to be too perfect, and I would write minimal APIs, like logging with 2-liners or something like this. Maybe this could be interesting, but yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, for me, that core profile is very interesting. Also in the light of what Adam said about that serverless, because if you only have a minimal set of functionality, what you use for 90%, and not something where you use 10% of it, then probably that is beneficial in those serverless environments. As I said, it is the beginning, but it's going nice. Even if you try to playing with it, what I did before, creating a runtime supporting all those core profile specifications, you can hack that together in a few weeks. So that's nice. If then the TCKs are individual available, as mentioned, and are easier to run, because the older ones were quite difficult to run. Now it becomes easier and easier. So if they are easy to run, then I guess there will be much more vendors and people playing around, creating interesting things that we can have cross-pollination between all those initiatives, and move the platform or that core profile further in the future.
And final one from Otavio.
Okay, I hope the best Jakarta specification in the world is coming next version. There will be Jakarta NoSQL. A lot of people say that. It's not me. I just replying here. And besides that, we have a configuration and Jakarta data that's coming from. And yes, more integration between Jakarta and microprofile to avoid us to replicate this code. And one Jakarta API to presentation like that to avoid the echo. Sound great too.
And we should also do, it's just rude for me to say this because I didn't contribute anything actually, but
there is always a time to do that, Adam.
The website.
Can start today. Yeah.
The website. We should make it even easier, to find immediately the specs. Sometimes not easy. So if you go, if you try to core profile and try to find the actual core profile, it is a challenge. So we should improve that. So just to make the links immediately available. So this would be, I don't know whether the community, the chat can also contribute. This is the question, just to make everything immediately visible from the website. hard, really hard. I thought about this, how to do this, but we should find a solution to make all these specs and all the HTML immediately available by a single link. This is
Yeah, maybe the core profile is not too easy to find because it's not released yet officially. So that's maybe the.
I can find it if you go there. It's download
Yeah, I know.
and then you click on the issue and then you find the APIs. But this is
Okay. So and this is at the same time requirement and invitation to the community to jump on and help out. So all the comments are greatly appreciated, and we'll make sure that happens. So having said that, over to you, Ivar. Do you have additional last questions or comments for our panelists?
No, not really. I'm pretty sure Shabnam, since she's not here right now, she will send you some T-shirts or some swags for being here. So
we have some questions from Ask the Question. We have 4 questions in Ask the Question.
We do.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I think we touched. The first one was the about the phases.
And testing, to us, view testing questions. They come over and over again about testing.
Yeah, testing is a huge one. And thank you to the community who already responded to some of the questions. There is one that I don't see any answer to. How do you see the Jakarta Faces future? Jakarta EE Faces future. Nowadays, developers are more interested in. I don't see the rest of the question.
Yeah, well, maybe I can quickly answer that because
Please.
I used to work a lot with Java server faces, and I find it very useful. And there are 2 things. You can have an application with JSF or with JavaScript, but what I found then astonishing a bit is that the JavaScript world said, oh, let's go to server-side rendering because that's easier and faster, which is actually JSF. So I think the future is still good for a lot of projects. It's just a matter of taste and probably also a bit of the requirements in some cases, but I guess there are two solutions for the same problem and 2 viable alternatives which people can choose about.
Thank you. So next time when we get together, all of you will be well dressed in your Jakarta t-shirts, and we will have oh, look at that one. Amazing. Adam, you will have to dress up a little bit better as well.
I have it. There's a problem with my camera. You only can see my face.
Yeah.
My underpants is also Jakarta EE underpants. Everything,
Yeah. don't show those. But
let's go there.
Pantless.
We trust you. So there is a question: how do I get an awesome T-shirt with the Jakarta EE? And the answer to that is 1, you participate in this panel, or you become a release lead, or you meet us at one of the conferences we're at, because we usually bring some T-shirts or some stuff around. So just approach us when you see us, and let's see what we have.
But there is more opportunity, actually other opportunities, and Shabnam will talk about that. We, on a regular basis, are looking into new committers, to award new contributors, top committers, anyone who is participating. And I think this is a great time to bring in Shabnam on the screen again. And
I really hope she's taking notes, because Werner has a good suggestion here, a Jakarta EE lederhosen for Adam. But I don't know if we want to see that either. But
let's just go into bringing Shabnam and move on. I want to thank Adam, Rudy, and Ottavio, and I want to make sure that you're aware of all the Jakarta live streams that are coming up. One of them is in Portuguese, and I'm calling out Ottavio's name there because he's going to participate and be on the program committee for that one. I want to call out also Jakarta One live stream in German that is happening just in 2 days. So please make sure you dial into that one. And of course, I can already give a hint that our major Jakarta One live stream in English will happen early in December, and we will make sure that all of our, these distinguished guests and other distinguished guests get to appear on that event as well. So keep your eyes and ears open and make sure that you're totally in tune with all of the celebration that is going on throughout the year with regards to Jakarta E10, and immediately start working and thinking about implementing all of these ideas for the next release, Jakarta E11. So thanks again to Adam, Rudy, and Ottavio, and we'll move on for the time being with this little celebration. Thank you.
Thanks.
So Shabnam is on her way in.
Okay, so I guess the next block is very exciting for all of our contributors and committers.
Hey, can you see me?
There she is. Hi, Shabnam.
Hi, I was laughing in the background with all the comments. Too funny. Yeah. So yay, it's award time actually. Let me see if I can share my screen and go through the list there.
If you cannot, I can obviously try again.
Okay, nothing is happening. I don't know what is wrong with it today. Yeah, Tanya, I think I need help.
Yep, no problem. Okay, so let me move to the contributor and committer recognition and celebration.
Yes.
Is this visible enough?
Yeah, you can put it on presentation
slideshow
mode. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yay. So, committers and contributors are the superstars of our amazing community, and we do our best to recognize and celebrate that. So we've come up with these categories to provide small incentives to our top committers and contributors of each of these categories. So let's get to it. Let's go to it. Yes. So the first category is the newcomer Jakarta specification contributors. Pet, Obrecht, Andrew, and Manfred are the top 3 contributors for this category. Congratulations, and please stay tuned. We'll reach out to you to get your addresses. And the next category is the Jakarta specification contributors. Scott Stark, Lucas, and Scott Kers are the top 3 contributors for this category. Congratulations. So the next category is the Eclipse Glassfish contributors. Lucas, Piotrek, Arjan are the top 3 contributors for this category. Congratulations. Thanks for all of your efforts. And the next one is the Jakarta TCK contributors. Gurunandan, Alvin, and Scott Marlowe are the top contributors of this category. Congratulations, thanks, and we'll reach out to you soon. And the next one.
The next one is a very special one.
Exactly. So this one is a very special one. As I mentioned in the beginning, all of our contributors, committers, they put a lot of efforts towards the release and making it happen. But Arjan in particular, he has done a lot of heavy lifting, especially trying to get the release to the finishing lines. And that's why we created this category to thank him and recognize all of his efforts. So well done, Arjan, and thanks, and keep up the good work. And the last category is the Selfie Challenge Award that I mentioned in the beginning. So thanks to everyone, first of all, for participating in this campaign. And, we've seen a lot of engagements on socials, and Luis's post in particular has the most likes and, created a lot of interactions on socials. So congratulations, Luis. We'll reach out to you. But, I just want to invite the community to continue with this campaign leading up to the release, and there will be more prizes for sure. Yeah. So with that,
Shabnam.
yeah, I think we're getting to the end of the session.
At the end of the show. So before we go completely to the end, I wanted to share with the community here and I'm not sure if I'm presenting here the right thing. I hope I am. Yeah, the release promotion. I want to share the social images of 10. So this folder is, of course, available to everyone for access. I will put this link to in the chat of the conference. So you can get the 10 images, and please keep sharing the excitement about this release. Post your selfies, promote the release, and celebrate with us throughout the year. Yes.
And remember to wipe the suntan lotion off the camera lens so it doesn't look like you're in the fog, like I did.
So I think we are going to close with this. I want to thank you to all of you who registered for this event and who participated. We are thrilled to have this recording available to you right after this event as well. We will upload it to our YouTube channel also. If you happen to have a little celebration in your JAG community or other community highlighting this release, or if you have any questions or suggestions, please reach out to us. We would like to promote your work and your efforts in celebrating Jakarta EE. Thank you so very much. Ivar and Shabnam?
Yeah, so I would like to thank everyone for joining, and also our amazing guests that we had today. Great discussion. And please follow us on socials, because there will be more campaigns going on leading up to the release. And, that way you can be up to date with everything related to the E10 release. So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll just add my name to whatever both of you said. It's good close.
Okay, thank you, everyone. This is it for us. Thanks so much, and see you soon. Bye.